Welcome out to another It's All Been Done Radio Hour Story Roundtable. We are here to talk Private Season 3, and we have approximately half the cast here to talk about it.
Also, for the record, this table is square.
It is square.
It is not round.
Yeah. Oh, because it's a round table. Megan calling us on our accuracy. Thank you, Megan.
You're
I appreciate that.
The private's square table.
There we go. There are 4 of us at the moment, although we are not sitting on the 4 sides, which makes it a little...
I'm going to sit over here closer to Kristin so I don't look like I'm antisocial on the podcast.
So
Now it just looks like the 3 of us are interrogating Jerome.
That makes sense. That is totally fit. So we are joined here by Shane Stefanchik, who plays Frank Barry.
Hello there!
Kristin Green, who plays Dame Judy Bench.
Am I supposed to say something?
No.
Okay.
And Megan Overholt, who is Mary Louise Gardner.
That's right.
Yes, and I know Chase is in the building, Wayne Bench. Do not know where Keith is. Hopefully he'll join us soon. I'm going to send him a message.
I'm just calling him out on a podcast.
Well, he's not here, so... Into the podcast room when you get here. And my bad, I forgot to invite Samantha Stark, who plays Cordelia, who isn't technically a main character, but is very important, and we included her last season. So I texted her and said, if you get here early, come in the podcast room and join us, because...
She'll be here before Keith.
Probably. So we're here talking Private Season 3. Because we don't have Keith, let's start with your individual characters. Chase, Wayne Bench has joined us in the round table.
Are we live?
Yeah, well, not live, but we're recording.
That's it, nice. Cool.
Yes.
So let's start with the characters we do have here. Megan, your character was pretty new this year. I think she showed up at the end of last season, maybe, briefly, like in one episode.
Possibly.
So how did you think she melded into the existing cast?
I think with the way that it was written, it really did work because she came in right when, I believe she came in right when Frank and Jake were starting to team up a little bit, and he was getting annoyed. Jake was getting annoyed by Frank, so it kind of started to seem like it would make sense for Jake, if he wanted a partner, to have a better partner, which would have been, Mary Louise.
Right.
So I think that it kind of came in nice and seamlessly. I wasn't sure to what level she would be involved in, like if he would get rid of her right away or something would happen to her. But I think that the way that it started to play out, where it did seem like maybe she might have had something for him and maybe she might be a good, team player.
Yeah.
But it was a little sad that she kind of replaced Frank a little bit.
For part of it, but I also think Jake and Frank had a very good bonding season. You want to talk about that, Shane?
Yeah, it was Frank always trying to, be best friends with Jake, and it seems like he's finally starting to win him over a little bit at a time. He's actually demonstrating that he's not completely useless. He's got connections, he's got money.
And he's got intelligence, because he's been figuring out what Mary Louise was up to.
Yeah, I think Wade
In one monologue.
I actually really loved that scene, because I think it made sense for Frank's character. I mean, bringing in his family background and everything, it makes sense he would figure out the things he figured out, but you don't expect it from Frank.
Right.
So it's really fun.
Well, I think that's something that we brought up like a really long time ago, like season 1, where it's like, what if Frank's accidentally just a really good detective, but like he's not doing it on purpose. He's just sort of like, oh, what if this? And like, oh yeah, that's actually right.
Yeah, if you think of everything, then you're going to be right at some point.
It's the Jar Jar Binks
Oh,
just tripping into
Yeah.
the right answer. No, he's
Exactly.
smart. He's smart.
Well,
When is this podcast coming out?
after the finale that we're doing today.
Okay. Speaking of Star Wars, come to Boxland Imperial Prom Gala.
Oh, it'll be like a year.
Oh, damn.
Come to 2025.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be 2025. Cut that out. Sorry.
Yeah, no, the finale that we're doing today won't go on the podcast feed till next spring. So this will be after that.
We're going to have a tip Jar Jar.
Oh, God.
Yep, that's happening. Anyway.
So, yeah, in season 2, Frank figured everything out first, but we didn't know that for the longest time. In season 3, he didn't figure everything out first, but he did have that one episode where it really came in handy. That he had intelligence. Mm-hmm. Do you think Mary Louise and Frank will ever get along now? Because they definitely seem set up to clash.
I think...
Although they teamed up pretty well.
That's true. Maybe.
I think Frank he works well without anyone. It's really, I think Mary Louise, it would be like, ugh, whatever, get out of me. But at the same time, I think Mary Louise would definitely recognize that Frank's good at just a natural, so...
Frank's everybody's best friend.
Yeah.
Well, and Mary Louise is more like Jake than Frank, so does that make her the better partner, or is it better to have a partner that's more of your opposite?
I think opposite. I think an opposite.
So Frank's a better partner than Mary Louise? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's coming from the actress herself.
Yeah. Yep. I think they make a better team. But at the same time, Jake, he needs to, he's more of a lone wolf, I think.
Yeah.
He likes to work on his own. So he needs team building exercises.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You talked about you weren't sure how she was going to develop, and what I like about Mary Louise is she adds a very different energy from our other female characters in the segment. She's a similar energy to Jake, but she's very different than Cordelia or Judy.
Yes.
So I think it balances the ensemble a little differently to have a character like her in the mix. And she will be back for season 4, so I think there's more to explore with her there. We do have a plan for season 4 laid out already, and some of you know it. We won't get into that because spoilers. Mm-hmm. But I view season 4 as kind of a final season of the story we're telling right now. I'm not saying we won't do more seasons, but it is kind of wrapping up what we've done for the last 3 seasons. And so I think with these characters, the way they've grown, do you think 4 seasons seems right, or do you think I'm pulling the plug too early?
I mean, it depends on the story. Like, if the story is coming to a natural conclusion, then I always like when you let the story and the characters and those relationships determine how far you are from being done.
Yeah.
The nice thing about privates is that it can go on, longer than other things, because you can have a major case to solve.
Right.
And instead of having an individual, you could do a case every week, which is fun way to do that. Mm-hmm. You could do, an overarching case as well. So it's what's the season-long case this time? So,
and that's kind of what we've done is a season-long case, but we've also built a 4-season overall case, right? Mm-hmm. So they all connect.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by finale, in that we're going to wrap up this story with Judy's family and all of that in the 4th season. So, and their stolen money and the boss. Speaking of boss, Chase.
What up?
You came in playing a character that we obviously would have feelings already about because you're connected very intimately to several of the main characters. How did that influence the way you played Wayne Bench?
Honestly, it's funny. I was trying to figure out how to differentiate him from them, but I don't know. I just got excited that I got to play a bad guy for once.
Yeah.
Usually I'm the very nice guy.
Yeah.
And so it was trying to differentiate, there's a certain cadence that everyone, reads through that's different than the other shows that we do. So wanting to stay in the style of the show, but find a differentiation. How do I vocally show that I am, superior? That's a bad way of putting it. But obviously, character's father, obviously a big boss, and so it was trying to fit organically into the flow, the rhythms of the speech, how characters interact with each other, but trying to make it unique so that my voice and Keith's voice don't blend. I think ours is closest together because you speak pretty high. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if that answers your question at all.
Yeah, you had a lot of scenes with your daughter Judy, and I definitely see how she takes after you in some ways. More so, I feel like, than we see how she takes after Cordelia. I think your character influences a lot of who she is. How did you feel about the dynamic between the two of you?
I agree. First off, it is always a pleasure to play next to Kristin. We don't always get to share the stage. Sometimes we are in separate scenes, or we don't get to work as closely. And so that was probably one of my favorite things, because you got to step up your game when you're next to her.
Oh,
that's true.
And so being able to act next to her, especially given our history, and then be able to bounce things off of each other. She is very quick with her returns, and so that puts me. I'm talking acting stuff.
Sure.
As far as the story goes, though, it's been really, really fun being very skeptical of her, but seeing it's like in a good way, Tywin and Tyrion Lannister, in that Tywin hates Tyrion, which
Sure.
sucks, but Tyrion is his real son, right? Like he is Tywin through and through. And so I think he is skeptical because he's a mob boss. But his daughter keeps showing that she has a lot of his talent. I do not get into spoilers, so hopefully you don't kill me, but I'm sure you will.
You are still live at the end of the season, and I can confirm you will be invited back for season 4.
Okay.
So
All right.
we'll see if you accept.
All right.
I don't think Wayne will be in every episode of season 4 the way he was in season 3. He feels like, especially now that he's not in the country,
Yeah.
it feels like he's more wait and use him well. But I do want to see Wayne again in season 4. I mean, we've set up this conflict between him and Judy that we need to follow up upon.
And it's a fun conflict too. I mean, it's anytime you have two strong characters that are, I don't know, it's very not love hate, but it's like it's skepticism, but you know, she could stab me, I could stab her.
Yeah.
I think it's that thing where you, and maybe even through the show, are realizing that you've created, you know, it's the thing that you created, but it is now capable of destroying you.
Mm-hmm.
Like you almost, it's like, I think you maybe underestimated her
Oh yeah.
and how smart she is. I think I did, honestly, until we brought in the Wayne character. I feel like for me, Judy having her father around, it has shown that she is intelligent, but I don't think she's had to use it. And I don't think she's really had to go that deep and play games that far ahead. I think we've seen her and her mom, they both lean more into their powers of seduction and their femininity. Not to say that like neither of them are intelligent. That is a very smart way of manipulating people. But this is an entirely different thing, and I'm not even sure if Judy knew she was capable of it.
I was just gonna ask you, did she know? Was
I
she
don't
like,
think so.
finally I get a good challenge, or?
You know, I don't think so, and the reason I think that is because, like you were saying, like when we have scenes together, it's really funny that you said that I'm quick with my responses, because I think Wayne is the only one where I've ever had to play Judy like she might not really be on her game. Like there are more pauses with him than with other people, because I think she's intimidated. I think she's afraid of him. I think she admires him. She wants him to be proud of her. I think it's the most confusing relationship in her life.
What do you think is her primary motivation for going to work with her father this season? Because we could name, I mean, obviously on the surface, trying to get her money back that she feels he stole from her, but also get her daddy's attention because he hasn't been around. Is it she wants to show she's better? Like, where is...
So I don't love saying things when I haven't thought about them that much, but right now my feeling is she ultimately wants him to be proud of her, but it might be that the thing that's only ever going to make him proud of her is if she can take him down. She would love maybe for it to be like, I think she might take the business and like work with him and eventually like be his successor if he would let her. But if he won't, I think she's also like, I'll do it the other way too, if I have to.
That's so. It's there. There's that moment in Succession that is a bit like that, where I can't remember everyone's name, but the younger Roy, the eldest boy, who's not, goes after his dad, and his dad's like, there's this moment where he looks like he's the proudest of his son, but he's like, good fucking luck. Good luck if we have to re-record that. And so it is going to be interesting because like there could be a natural like I'm backing off, right? He's allowing you to run shit while he's out of the country. But I really, really wonder where your character, like how far you're willing to go. Because like if you're successful and you want more, like what do I become in that? Am I an obstacle at that point?
We already saw how cold she can go because she was willing to let Jake die.
That was a shock to me.
Yeah.
That was a shock to me.
Yeah.
I know because we don't deal in long monologues too much, but I was like waiting for that monologue to like take through the whole like, but that was a shocking one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if she
I'm
can
honestly not surprised. This
think
is
so,
the
too.
relationship that motivates her and is in her head more than anything.
Right.
And I don't think she thinks of Jake as honestly like her true.
She's betrayed him so many times.
You think she has any like boundaries on that though? Like, is there anyone where
I don't think she'd kill her mom. I don't think
Okay.
she'd kill her mom. I think she would kill her dad. I don't think she'd kill her mom.
Hey.
Just saying right now. Just right now.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, she betrayed her mother, but not in a way that endangered her mother, right? It was about the money. She didn't put her mother in physical danger.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think so.
Obviously, when this first started, it was very much central to Jake, and it was. I wasn't like case of the week, but like he was the primary focus. So, like, what was your thinking in changing that? Because all of a sudden, it broadened, and it didn't. You know, sometimes you broaden for the sake of a story, and then you contract back to what it was, and it goes for a while. But this felt like it broadened and like stayed there, and then all of a sudden you had this cast of characters where Jake was not the main monologuer of it. So, like, what was your thought process in that? Was it always the intention, or was there like, oh, I've got all these ideas for characters, let's put them in?
So the first season, we did like 5-minute episodes. It was like a commercial break, really, like our 7-minute episodes to give Universe Journey more running time, honestly, is why we did it. So it could be longer than normal. And so I wanted a shorter to balance. And that worked really well for having a central main character. But once we decided to expand Privates into more full length, and by full length, I still only mean like 12 pages a lot of times. So short on the shorter end of what we do for segments. But at that point, I was challenged with what do we do to make the expansion work? Because I don't know that I can, as a writer, balance it so heavily on Keith. In that case, let's have some other characters around him. And we already had some characters that I liked. So I thought, well, let's see more of them and build that. And then the idea in last season of let's do an episode where Jake's missing and give them all a voice and a theme. I liked that so much. And we repeated it this year. But Jake is still the main character of the story. And it's funny you talk about contraction because, like I said, I view next season as a finale for this cast. I think there's more stories to tell with Jake Cotton, but I don't think the next batch of his story will involve all of these people. Whether we bring one or two with him is up in the air, but yeah.
Can I take you back to when you said you did the episodes without Jake altogether? Was that, you can cut it out if you need to, but it's like, was that a behind the scenes thing of Keith not being available, or did you? So like, what was?
Keith's never missed a month, maybe once missed a monthly show.
Was there a? I don't want to say fear, because like in art you just try to expand and stuff, but that would have been taking your main character out of a show. Was it because you thought that the secondary characters could like carry it, or did you purely want to try this out to see what would happen?
I just thought we had so much a look into Jake's head. This was an opportunity to see into these other characters' heads a little bit.
Okay.
Because we get their dialogue, but we don't get their thinking. And by getting them a theme and a monologue, then we get their thinking a bit.
The themes
Even
are
a
great.
monologue.
Yeah.
Yours
Yeah.
is the best.
I mean, I guess I kind of spoiled by saying that Jake Cotton will continue past the season because we end the season with Wayne shooting him.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a spoiler to say.
I will say that writing the same theme but 4 different characters specifically is a lot of fun. Frank's is the only, I think, piece of music I've ever written for the show that I did not let myself do more than one take. Whatever it was, that's what it was.
Yeah. Well, then Mary Louise got a theme this season as well. So we added another
really
theme.
good one too.
I wanted hers to be like, hers and Jake's are the closest in like just sort of a standard song, but I wanted hers to be very noir because that's how I see her. Like it's back to that classic like detective noir.
Yep.
She's wearing a black blouse too, so.
Yeah, you're very in character.
We are joined by Keith Jackson, our main character, Jake Cotton.
Late for my own funeral.
Well, you were shot at the end of this season here.
Yeah.
Do you think he survived?
I feel okay. But that could mean a lot of things.
Well, before you came in, I'm not wanting to spoil things about the upcoming season, but I
say
don't
something.
think it's a big spoiler to say Jake will be back. Because I think everybody just expects Jake to be back and he's going to be back. Was shooting him effective at all? Did it serve any purpose, or was that a misstep for the end of the season, do you think?
Are you ending with Jake Cotton will return at the episode?
No.
Because like audiences aren't
No.
going to know. They
That's
might think
true.
he's dead. And you kill your favorite characters all
So
the time.
I should cut any reference in this podcast to Jake returning for next season.
I mean, if you don't want to create spoilers, but I mean, like you've killed off characters before,
true.
and they have not come back.
It's true.
As much as it has made me cry. I'll never forgive you for 2 deaths.
Which two?
Oh, those 2. Even though you did come back, but she's a different new. But like, wrong
You and
show.
Meow Meow?
Oh my God! We went too long. Like I took you to dinner to talk about that episode.
I know.
Which one?
When Meow Meow comes back and then dies again, and I was just
Oh, the
like-
hologram is just.
I was just like, we have to discuss this entire episode, and it was like the full 2 hours of us having dinner.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah, he was very moved.
It was
by it.
it's one of my favorite episodes. It's probably my favorite. All right, sorry.
Check
Private
out Universe
version.
Journey.
Yeah.
That's all I'm done ready about.
Private. So
that
yeah,
out.
Jake is left for dead at the end of this season. So where do we go from here?
The hospital.
Do you think
The
that
morgue.
experience
I don't
will
know.
change Jake in any way?
Probably. I mean, it will have like a higher lead content.
You don't think they'll take the bullets out?
No, I don't.
Any gumshoe worth his salt has been shot at least once.
Has he been shot before? Has his life been in
Probably.
danger?
Oh.
Probably.
Not
We
on.
haven't seen it.
I guess not on screen.
Yeah.
God, what else? No, it's just that the other question about whether or not it's effective. It's the Pat Shock thing jumped in my head, where it's like, I am the show. It's not gonna, that. it's. I think it's different for this. It could be done, but it seemed like that seems like it would be a little forced. Like if our leaving, like me, the actor, yes, that would make sense, but.
Well, otherwise we start next season and Frank's the main character, and that's how it is right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it would still be watchable or listenable or whatever. So,
Chase, why do you think Wayne shot Jake?
I mean, look at him. I don't know.
Does anybody else have
I don't want to
one?
say I don't have. Oh, sorry. Go
I
ahead.
just thought of one. I don't know if it's right.
Okay.
Maybe because he's the only other person that does have influence on Judy.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Is like you took the step. I'm seeing how you were. Like
You took my game and you kind of upped the ante. Like,
right. You shooting him was a shock, I think, and
Well, she ordered his death.
Yeah,
she
I
didn't
didn't
actually shoot him.
right.
Yeah.
But like, I think you have proven yourself so much that I want to clear distractions, right? And you've already said, like, you already made that decision. So I'm just making sure nothing else gets in your way. Because I think on the trip that you're on now, it's going to be hard for you to find any kind of love. And if you do, they will be subservient to you. You know, they're not going to be an equal match. Like, I'm watching my rising star, and I'm seeing you make decisions. I'm just cleaning up the mess, behind the scenes. But that would be my best guess. I don't know, like, for certain.
Well, and
No spoilers.
just to add another wrinkle to this, Judy's plan that she sold to her father was with the cabin, where she was faking that she was in danger so that she could take over the business and he could escape. But the only person that would know to look for the cabin was probably Jake. So did she really believe she ordered Jake dead? Or is she playing three-dimensional chess and she was 8 steps ahead?
So then I can't ask what's going to happen next season. I don't want to know, but now I'm wondering what happens when the news is delivered. Like, he's actually been shot.
yeah. That was a question I had too. I was like, did she really not know he was alive? I don't know.
there are some things there's some details like that
I know.
I've actually pushed out of my head from the episode.
Yeah.
Involuntarily. It's sometimes I like to just have it fresh again.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not always a good strategy when you're supposed to perform something. But the parts that I'm not in, I like to be able to just take that in on show day. And so there's some things I forgot to even.
Sure.
We're kind of in that area right now, and it's not a direct correlation, but I also think it's interesting that, like, the theme of who knows what, watching Mary Louise sort of realize that she's not in on everything. Like, when you think you're higher up than you are and you realize, I'm just this tiny little piece of the puzzle and I don't get to go to the next. I don't get to see the whole picture.
Yeah.
That was really interesting. I thought was watching her be like, what the fuck?
If feel like we've talked to Shane not much at all, so I do want to ask him another question.
Oh, sure.
Shane,
Yeah.
do you think Frank gets jealous of Wayne?
Of Wayne?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, right, because
Yeah.
I was like, what?
I don't think so. I mean, maybe of his money.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think him and Cordy are solid.
Yeah. I don't think Frank would want the power and influence.
That's
Wayne
too much
has.
work.
Yeah.
He's just trying to make a quick buck, you know?
And he did skim some money off of Wayne, so he
He
must
did,
not be
yeah.
that afraid of it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, so clearly there's a history there.
Yeah.
Clearly it ended okay enough that Cordy! We're just talking about you. Clearly the relationship between Wayne and Frank ended good enough that Frank's not dead.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Wayne has to know that they're dating,
Oh, yeah.
right? For at this point years, so like he's got to be okay with it at least on some level.
That is interesting, though, because as we talked earlier about how Frank is more intelligent, maybe, or at least he stumbles into intelligence. If Wayne was like, it's that thing of like, this guy, sure, go ahead, have fun. But like, if Frank continues to cause problems and figure shit out, that could change
That's fun.
things between them.
It's Lord of the Rings. Everyone asks, like, why didn't Sauron, like, obviously see the hobbits going into Mordor? And it's because they're hobbits. Why would he be looking for that? No one would want to destroy the
Yeah.
ring.
Yeah.
So, like, it's when someone is so smart that they overthink things, and the person they should be paying attention to is he might just be really smart. He just may come off as, like, kind of goofy.
Yeah.
But you
Threatening.
could see why it's like, this guy? Come on. I've worked with harder
Yeah.
folks. You know, so yeah.
Samantha Stark joins us, Cordelia Bench.
Oh, I don't get out of bed for less than $1 million, so we'll settle up later.
You were in about half of this season.
Yes.
Because we didn't get Cordy's perspective on all of events, what do you think she thinks of what went down and what's going on and all this conflict between her ex and her daughter and her boyfriend and Jake and...
Well, knowing her ex probably very well, she's probably worried.
Yeah.
Probably very worried. She just kind of wants everything to be, she wants her money, of course, but I don't think she's a selfish person, but she craves security. So that's why she's so like focused on that. But she cares about her family. She wants her daughter to be happy. She thinks Jake is great for her. So, but she also doesn't see like any flaws in Jake. She's very like, oh, you're the best. You're my darling. And you're going to bring my daughter out of this funk that I think she's falling down the wrong path. So I think she's trying to put pieces into place to avoid certain things, but she just quite doesn't know how to, and she probably relies on Frank a lot for for getting Jake into the right spot for her daughter, for Judy, and then to try to get the ex-husband out.
Well, for one small tease for next season, I plan to use Cordelia a lot more next season. Ooh. So
Top billing.
a lot more involved
Finally.
in the main plot. So
Okay.
we are wrapping up here, sorry. But what I know some of you know a little bit about the last season. I will spoil one other small tease that the last season is primarily set on a boat.
Oh, I already heard that.
So I think
On
that's
a
a fun
boat.
concept. I'm very excited about having them all in this contained environment. All of our
Someone's getting thrown
leads, all of our important players. What is one thing you want to see from your character in that quote unquote final season of this story arc? We'll start on this side of the table and go around.
I don't know. Maybe one of Frank's get-rich-quick schemes paying off.
Oh, gosh.
And he owns the boat.
Yeah.
He bets for it and wins it.
For an acting goal, I'd like to, I don't know what the context would be, but I'd like to see, like, Judy and Mary Louise, like, if there's any sort of, like...
Romance?
No, not romance. But, like, what the tension would be. Like, would she ever try to, like, go through Judy to do anything? Would Judy ever try to play her, like, recognize, like, that she's a threat to the operation? I don't know how realistic this is, how much we'll have Chase, but I just really love more of the father-daughter relationship. Like, I like seeing Judy kind of knocked off her balance a little bit.
I remember really enjoying that scene this past rehearsal. I mean, the content is pushed aside, but something about just the feeling, the chemistry.
Yeah.
Just,
And maybe part of her like journey is, I don't know, we haven't seen her in Cordelia much at all, so sort of that balance between. I'd like to act with both my parents again. Yeah.
Megan.
I either want Mary Louise to be back on the force or sue the city for wrongful termination, or basically set up her own shop somewhere else, maybe on the opposite side of town, so that once in a while, maybe in the further seasons, they could come together again, and like, you know, Jake and Mary Louise might have a moment of trying to solve a crime together or swapping information or something like that. So that would be a gainful employment for Mary Louise.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Would be nice.
And then the line in this finale where she said, they ask her like, "What are you going to do next? Take a cruise." That was before we came up with the boat concept.
Yeah, I was like,
But I was like, I like that now feeds in. It's almost like the Easter egg that's what's coming.
yep, I love it. The
Yeah.
love boat.
She is going to take a cruise.
Yeah.
the camera angle.
Well-deserved
just
vacation.
So,
Yeah.
Kind of like not quite looking at the camera, just a little bit off the cruise. And so
Chase.
So it is so much fun playing the Kingpin and being like majorly in charge, but it would be so interesting to see a great challenge to that, and to see, because we don't see how he had his rise, right? And you don't get to the top by, you know, just shooting a bunch of people. There's conniving,
It
there's
helps.
lying, there's power, but
You want the prequel series.
no. Well, there's that, but there's also, what is it? House of Cards, where what's his name was the vice president, or no, he's the president, but gets knocked down. I think he got knocked down. He might have also just
Frank?
been in the show, yeah. But seeing someone fight for their position, I think is really, really interesting. So we see him now, but we haven't seen him have to really contend with a real challenge, and that could be from multiple directions. That would be fucking cool.
So what Kristin and Chase just said sort of feeds into what I would like to see for Cordelia. I would like to see her go toe-to-toe with her ex. And that would like create that like, which parent should I? And then to piggyback off of Chase a little more is, what did Cordelia do to get into that relationship, thrive in it, and survive it and get out? Because she's not stupid. She's probably just as conniving, but she might not want to be that way anymore, which is why she's with someone as wholesome as Frank. And she doesn't want that life anymore. But what did she do? What?
It's the wholesomest version of a con artist.
Yes, the wholesome con artist. Yeah.
He's got principles.
But I would love to see what that family intersection looks like.
Yeah.
I think that
And
the
prequel, I agree.
Spin-off.
Yes.
Family
last
affair.
two people should have wished for theme songs.
I was going to say, we don't have a
We don't have a
Wayne
Wayne theme song, no.
yet. He's the only one that doesn't have a theme song.
At this table.
Wait,
correct.
But actually-
Cordelia have one?
I think
Yes.
Yes,
he
Corey
does.
has one. It's like more harpsichordy.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
Sometimes my favorite, I again I'm just the actor I portray, but I love characters where we don't get into their heads, and so theme song means I got a monologue. Right?
Oh my God.
I wasn't planning a Wayne theme song.
Yeah.
So.
No, I've got it. I'll start one, and you just stand there. And I start it, and you're like,
No.
nope. not letting you in. Yeah, like,
Oh, wow.
Power
oh my
play.
God,
Are you writing that
please
down?
do that.
I've written several notes during this. Anytime you see me looking at my phone, that's what
That
I'm
is
planning on
happening.
doing. Keith, final thoughts. What do you want to see next season for Privates and Jake Cotton if he survives the gunshot?
I would like to see fewer bullets in my body.
That's a
Right.
good.
That's
It's a good goal.
pretty much it. Oh, man. It's
Can't promise that.
I hope the mic picked that up.
It will.
It's I'm not sure. It feels like the character's perpetually off balance. Something more, I was going to say Frankish as far as like a, no, I mean, I guess there's like a scene or two where the, you know, the wrap up, here's how everything happened.
Yeah.
Here's like, I was ahead of this, that kind of thing. But I mean, I don't know.
Well, this season, I feel like you seemed like you were on it the whole season until Judy ordered your death, and then all of a sudden you weren't, and that threw you, and you kind of end the season without being on it. Whereas previous seasons, you came in at the end and wrapped it all up. So
That's about why
we
he
end
was
very
right on it,
differently.
yes.
Yeah. Anyway, well, thank you all. I love Privates. I'm looking forward to doing season 4 with all of you in it. So until
Yay.
then, have a great week.
Yay! Thank you.
I'm
We
waving.
waving always does great for audio.
Yes.
How else are they gonna know?
It's All Been Done Radio Hour, number 528. Story Roundtable, number 18. Privates, Season 3. Make sure to check out our website at iabdpresents.com. We would like to take a moment to give a shout out to Boxland, our host performance space. Don't forget to support us at patreon.com/IABD. A mere $5 donation gets you access to past and upcoming raw audio to our monthly shows, as well as exclusive performances, bloopers, and short stories. Thanks for listening. We got plenty more. You should keep listening. I won't tell. Have a great week.
It's All Been Done presents
Who's got the time?